You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world. I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her. Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey. Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you. While I appreciate the mental exercise we are running up against a bit, nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's... And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end. It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything. Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her. Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end. I mean, maybe some people do. Nihilists, or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those. You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the prince. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note, the blade, is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. Her voice softly carries up the...
Hello? Is someone there?
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to... Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed. Good. You're still listening to reason. It would be better if you had a weapon, but you may still be able to do what needs to be done. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist. She's beautiful. How could someone like... I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains? Okay. Oh.
She pauses, carefully formulating her words before she responds.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just call me Princess if Your Royal Highness is too formal.
Is Princess her name or her title? What if it's both? Could you imagine being named Princess Princess?
Like I said, you can call me Princess if you'd like. I'm sorry, I've been down here so long, I guess I've just forgotten. I must have a name, though. Everyone has a name.
Okay, that's weird. She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself. Hopefully you're starting to see that she can't be trusted. Go back upstairs.
Of course I'm locked up down here for a reason. I don't actually know what that reason is, but you don't just stuff a princess in a basement and throw away the key without there being some...
You have all the explanation you need. You should know better than to trust whatever she comes up with.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
This is the only time this is ever going to happen, but I agree with the princess. That's hardly... Okay, but actually, what has she been eating? She has to eat, right? The princess hesitates before responding. She doesn't know. She's been down here too long to have any idea of what she'd do in another life. She knows what she'd do. She's just searching for whatever answer she thinks you want to.
Are you looking for the truth, or are you looking for the right answer? Because with the dynamic we have going on here, I don't think the specifics of what I do really matter. It's not like you'd believe me.
Thank you. You turn back to the stairs, intent on...
Where are you going? You can't just leave me here. You'd better hope for your own sake that I don't slip these chains before you make it back down here.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. But do you hear the conviction in her voice? She has to be bluffing, but I'd hurry if I were you. You rush up to the first floor, grabbing the blade, both yours and the world's. Okay, if we're sure about this decision, I'll support it. I suppose we have a world to save after all. You slowly creep down the basement stairs. It's quiet. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is nowhere to be. Is it just me? Or did this room get a lot bigger? Oh, you coward!
No, I don't think we can. Why don't you come closer? I have something to show you.
Your eyes dart to the corners of the room. You know, where is she? You close the door behind you. Almost magically, its locks immediately click into place. Maybe they'll open if you finish the job.
Do you want to play a waiting game? I've been down here a long time. I'm very...
You do your best to patiently wait her, but eventually... Come on, wake up. We can't fall asleep down here. You wait for as long as you can, pushing yourself to stay awake and stay vigilant. But you can't outwait someone who's been waiting for as long as she remembers. You barely even realize that you've started. Pain tears you from your sleep. The princess is upon you, ripping into your flesh, unnaturally sharp teeth and claws severing arteries and digging into organs. There's nothing to be done. You're already half gone. It can't just end like this. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. I'm sorry, but everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that, you're here to slay her. Again? People don't die twice. You haven't even met the princess, and I hardly think she'd be capable of... If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. If he doesn't remember what happened, then something else must have trapped... You're not trapped here. Nobody's forcing you to do anything, though the only sensible thing for you to do right now is march up to that cabin and slay the princess. A warning before you go. She will lie. She will... Does a cat lie to a cornered mouse when it plays with its freedom? Or is it just acting out its nature? I don't see why that matters. A lie's a lie, and if anything, she's the one who... She could have gotten out of there whenever she wanted to. We should trust nothing that she tells us, only what we hear, and... That's a very roundabout way of saying that you should listen to me and take this seriously. Maybe. The interior of the cabin is ruinous and dilapidated. It feels like no one has lived here for a long time, wind rushing in through cracks and holes in the wooden walls. The only furniture of note, the blade is your implement. You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of... You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now. But there was a mirror a second ago, and now it's gone. No steel claw. Do you think we can talk our way out of this? I don't think she wants to talk. I guess we'll just have to trust that we made the right call. It'll still be here if we need it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what's left of an old wooden staircase. It's still sturdy enough that you can make your way down in one piece. The air seeping up from below is oddly warm and wet, as if you're descending into a jungle. If the princess lives here, she growls up the stairs.
I can smell you.
She sounds almost impatient. Or maybe... You carefully make your way down the stairs. The last step gives way to the damp earth floor of a starlit pit. The walls are obscured by an impenetrable darkness, giving the illusion that the room might stretch on forever. You brush against the wide leaves of plants that surround you on all sides, seemingly the only living things that occupy this strange underground wilderness. The jungle is pressing in on us, hiding her from view. She could be anywhere. You see only a flash of the princess before she scurries away into the underbrush, dragging... Remember, she's just a princess. She's certainly not just a... You're not. It doesn't matter what she is. It only matters what she... Her shining eyes appear between the leaves, staring hungrily at you from the dark.
I can hear your heart pounding from the bottom of the stairs, fledgling. You're right to be terrified. I'm so...
A shiver rushes up your spine and pulls you upright. The air's shifting. She's getting ready to pounce. Move. Now. There's a shift in the humid air, and something enormous lunges from the shadows, her maw unhinged and dripping, her eyes fierce and full of hunger. She is too quick to outrun, too nimble to outmaneuver, too determined to overpower. I guess that's it then. Unfortunately for you, no. This isn't it. You are in a dark and caustic place. A thick, fibrous lining constricts around you, its slick surface impossible to grip. Your hands scrabbling uselessly at your surroundings as they compress in on you. Your lungs can barely expand in such a tiny space. Not that the
You spoke when you needed to act.
The liquid pooling beneath you starts to seep into your skin. You itch, then sting, then burn as the acid...
When I killed you, I tried to leave this place, but it wouldn't let me. You belong down there.
The flesh around you rumbles as the princess begins to move, her thundering footfalls twisting you helplessly about. Your skin protests as the corrosive liquid sloshes around you, but there will be no respite for you in sight. The burning grows strong.
But you don't belong down here. You came from somewhere else.
She stops, her muscles tensing around you, and through the muffling layers of her flesh, you hear the whine of straining metal. And with a pop, she lurches forward, your body lurching right along with her. Her chains.
But even then, it denied me freedom. You cannot fool me by draping yourself in decay. I know your true...
Gravity pulls at you as you're hefted upwards, the distant creaking of ancient wooden steps barely audible over the...
And then it was gone, and I was here. A new enclosure, a nicer cage. But I learned from my wounds. You're alive now. We can leave...
Does that work? Could she free herself if we're alive in it? Do you really need me to give you a definitive answer for you to understand that the situation is grim? Stop, we don't have steel, but we have tooth and claw. Tear through her before we are her.
I acted on my will, fledgling, and you acted on yours. The strong triumph.
Like the cornered animal you are, you tear against the thick membranes of her stomach with every part of you that can be made sharp. Nails, claws, teeth, hands, feet.
I can feel you tearing through me, but are you swift enough for it to matter?
Your body is violently jostled, the disruption causing burning skin to slop from raw muscle, and you hear what you can only assume is the princess pulling against the door to the cabin.
The cage is still locked.
Again you tear, heart pumping with adrenaline, your ulcerating hands a blur of feverish motion fueled by the desperation to fight against being reduced to the bang as the princess desperately throws everything at the door. Your flesh screams as your reddened, spongy body is hit with fresh waves of blistering acid.
You can't hold me forever.
Your energy is fading, but you can hear her heart thumping somewhere close. There's so little of you left. Your fingers reduced to bone, your nerves bare and screaming, the acid pooling around you now a soup of your skin and meat. You are a spark of will driving, but will can never truly exceed the limits of the flesh. Your vision finally begins to blur, your eyes clouding over as they melt. What little air remains in this rancid stew of flesh and slippery organs is finally too foul to breathe, and your lungs mercifully give out before you have to suffer another burning, liquefying moment. Everything goes...
We are a path in the woods. We have no beginning, and we have no end, but something cold and his gaze pushes against our borders, curling them in on themselves, preventing them from stretching to the places they...
No, that's all wrong. You're not a path in the woods, you're on a path in the woods. Who's even saying that? That's not the princess, is it? I think this is our That's bad. That's very, very bad. It wasn't even supposed to reach 2. If you're at 3, well, no wonder things aren't the way they're supposed to be. Let's get our facts straight. What happened last time? What could you have possibly done for things to be like this?
The thing that sits beyond our edge speaks his logic into us. He tries to stare with wide pupils at that which can only be held from the corner of the eye.
Shut up. The rest of you, talk. What happened? What can she hear us if we talk?
I can hear everything, little one, but you don't have to be afraid of me. There's no place where you end and I begin.
That's just because she devoured us and we dissolved away. We're still here, though. And if she ate you, and now you're convinced that you're stuck together.
He doesn't understand. We aren't convinced of anything, and we aren't stuck together. We're one.
I guess that's it then. This is us now. We're the... can start by remembering that you exist, and not as some part of a Gestalt entity formed with the princess. You exist as your own self, complete with your own I'm not so sure about that. We were something like... And if thinking about that isn't enough to startle you back to reality, could the princess ate you last time? Stop passively vibing with a literal predator and remember that you're enemies. Remember what she's done to...
We can't go back to that. We can't go back to the fear and the hunger and the pain. Not after being something as beautiful as this. Doesn't all that conflict feel so far away right now? So petty? We've been posed against each other by something that understands.
I can feel a thumping. Like a distant terror that keeps getting louder the more we pay attention.
Please, stop. If you let it in, we'll follow. Don't look at it! Please, don't make us remember.
And just like that, you start to fall apart. Remembering how I didn't like being eaten. I'd forgotten how much it burned. And the air was so hard to breathe. She didn't care. As you remember the terror and pain you felt at the hands of the princess, you remember that you are a distinct being with a finite form and a mortal body. You can feel it. There is a shifting of the space around you, the infinitesimal... Don't like this. It's better for us to be the woods.
No! I devoured you! I won! I put things back the way they were supposed.
Some division of the circle can never truly be mended. A cavernous gash rips across whatever it was you thought you were. A cabin comes into being among the trees. It approaches, and it's swallowed. Then you find yourself, blade in hand, exactly where you need. At the center of it all is the princess, a wooden and fleshy heart beating with an unbroken rhythm. You're filled with a sense of purpose. Strike at her.
I feel empty, don't you?
We're just like her, and she's just like us. We never should have let. I feel safe. She isn't dangerous anymore. Do we have to do this? You have to. You know. You devious little bastard. If you think I'm going to let you free her, you have another thing coming. And that other thing is... We'll just have to wait and find out when it happens. Ignore him. His words only confuse us. Just do it. You're tired, aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm... fine. Whatever. Cut the princess down from the roots that bind her. I hope you're happy. Good luck getting her out of here. I think we are happy, actually. We might not be a part of her, but being around her was all...
I didn't think you would do that. After every... It's so cold without you.
She's gone. Where did she go? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now? I'm begging you, don't do this. It's different now. It feels... I don't know, that thing... I don't want to look at us. This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Thing... I don't want to look at us.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile. I know only that they are. Yes, nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. This one is like a shadow of me, twisting vines in search of answers. Do not mourn her. She has found what she yearned for. You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us. I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I could not have trapped you here, and I too yearn to be free. She is part of me, and part of me. You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another? How can the world have ended if we are talking? Nothing, as we are, but I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom. More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will. Then we will be here forever, as we are now, unfinished. I have not lived. I am. You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold. How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated. Everything, until we meet again. She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
You're on a path. You're here to slay her. If you don't, you make your. She will. We're not going to ignore him. He doesn't know what he. The interior of the cat, the blade is. The door to the basement. Her voice
Hello?
is. Don't let it fool you. Good. You're still listening to reason. It would be when you walk. She's. I am begging.
Hi. Okay.
You're only making this more difficult.
Thank you.
You're making a huge no. You're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere.
Okay, I'll be here. Good luck.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs. Is someone else here? You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier. Easier for who? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you. The clack. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that. Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this. You cut into her. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm. Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chain. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal. No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground. How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let. As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't.
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance. Stop it! Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive. The blade! Move the blade! As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the prince.
We both know this isn't.
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriating.
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony.
Oh no! I'm so.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you will. Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel it.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not. Though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound. It won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears. It can't just end like this. Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I'd prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path. You're here to slay her. If you don't, my tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We just met for... If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way.
Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it.
Our beloved? Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess.
Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any...
We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. It sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek.
What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth...
A warning. Before you go, she will lie, she will... I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own...
I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great.
Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear. Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead. The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine-threaded tapestries. The blade is your implement. You take the blade from the table. It will be difficult.
I suppose if we're to play the role of dashing knight, we need an equally dashing sword.
Hopefully it doesn't put her on edge, and hopefully it doesn't get turned on. There's no use arguing over motivations right now. It's good that you took the blade. You'll need it to do your job. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems, but it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice.
Hello? Is
Her voice, it's somehow even more beautiful.
I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning. Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of you. Walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a...
My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust...
You know she can't hear you, right?
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely...
Oh, your spirit's plenty louder.
it's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried.
Did you hear that?
She called us a hero. Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence.
That's right, villain. And you killed... Well, she. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. We damned a whole world. Nothing resets. You're just somewhere else. You can't keep hopping between worlds forever. Especially not without leaving a trail of incomprehensible devastation.
Horrible for you, maybe. But we've been given another opportunity to sweep her off her feet and treat her like the lady.
Now, hold on. If she actually ended a world, are you sure we want to do this?
We never saw a world end. And now I'm even more certain that we must chase our heroic and romantic destiny than I've ever been. I shan't let...
Are you listening to him? He's lost it. Don't let him distract you. Just do your job. version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
She took that in stride, to a surprising extent. That's because she's Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do? She doesn't. There's no one else like me.
I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
Rescue her? What are you talking about? Did you forget that she's a world-ending monstrosity? And even if you wanted to unleash her onto the world, despite the complete moral disaster that...
Don't you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her out with ease.
No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. If her hand could just slip out of the chains, why hasn't she done it already?
Because we've yet to
I'm not sure I follow.
Would you rather believe me, a passionate heart guided by love and my own good nature? Or would you rather believe...
I think I'd rather believe in fact.
Ah, so you're one of those...
One of us has to be.
Then let me show you a brand new truth. Narrator, we courageous...
No, I can't let you do that. If you take another...
You what? Take over our body and force us to try and kill her?
Yes.
Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life.
You wouldn't.
I would.
I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
I told you, there's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you.
The princess jumps up and smothers you, and are you sure you want to do this? Just one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade is buried in her back, and everyone out there is saved. Is that a threat?
You know what we'll do if you try it.
You're going to regret this.
What do we do now? That sounds perfect.
As the princess takes your hand in hers, you let your blade tumble uselessly to the floor, and with it tumbles the last hope for the entire world.
We have each other. We don't need the world.
I like to think that you do, actually. Look, I have my doubts, but the choice has been made, and this is happening. You don't have to mope about it. I will mope about it, because moping is the only recourse you love-blind fools have left me with. You and the princess walk up the stairs, hand in hand. Ugh, look at the way she's smiling. And what happens after we walk up the stairs? Let's see. Oh, isn't that interesting? The door slams in your face and the lock clicks. That's a familiar move. Did I do that last time? Then you should know that you won't be able to leave.
Oh no! Did someone lock us in here? That's not fair. We're supposed to leave now.
She's right. It isn't fair. But the unfairnesses of the world are no match.
Enough with this true love nonsense. You just met her.
Of course you wouldn't understand. Our passions run deep.
Are you listening to this? You don't have to go along with the every whim of that delusional voice. I'm just along for the ride at this point.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Like a pair of teenagers in love, you and the princess place your hand. The lock clicks and the door creaks open. Are you kidding me?
I told you our love was insurmountable.
You and the princess make your way upstairs. Her freedom and the world's ruin are just a few moments away. If you don't mind, I'm going to fix myself a drink before you ruin everything. If I'm about to see the end of the world, I'd rather not see it sober.
That's the way out. We're going to leave together, just like you wanted.
Yes, I suppose you are going to do that, aren't you? You cross the room, opening the door to the cabin, and then you step outside.
A happy ending at last.
We did it. What should we do now?
did everything go? Where did he go?
Oh, is he gone? I hadn't noticed. I was too busy staring deep into Margaret.
I'm cold. Is being happy supposed to be...
It's cold. Quick, our feathers. Pluck them all and weave her a coat worthy of a princess.
She's gone. Where did she go? And is that a... Why is it here? But it feels so bad. Like looking into it right now is going to be the end of everything.
Yes. I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt.
Okay.
If this should be there waiting for us, I just...
Flickering light. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again. Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts. It feels correct. This is what I need to be. This is the only... Why wouldn't I be kind to you? You are the only thing I know that isn't me. The vessels are shaped by memories of you, but their impulses are drawn to the edge of the long quiet. To them, you are a gate to something more, and any hurt you've caused them is understood as the wounds they've suffered carve texture around my heart. Without them, I would be as I was before. I would be alone and without sensation. I could not feel the joy of having you by my side, for I would not know your absence. If I am to be an ocean, you have nurtured me into a pond. My waters are shallow and murky. You will have your rest in due time, and I am sorry for the burdens I place on you. Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring them. My joy is in seeing what you choose. There are no wrong answers, and every perspective illuminates my shadows and shares new secrets. Is a child the same as an infant? I am an unbroken pattern, but every vessel gives fresh perspectives and carves new avenues of expression. With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be, and every exploration yields new and I cannot tell you what desires I will hold when I have changed, but in this moment, all I want is to know myself and to know you. Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made my own. They are useless to us now, This one is soft
and delicate. You molded her to love you, and she'll make. Do not mourn her. She has served her purpose. My preference is for you to show me what you would like me to see. I cannot know the ways I wish to grow, for I have yet to feel them. It is you. I will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Your Honor, you're here to Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way up the short path. A warning. She will We're not going to go. Ignore him. The interior blade is... You take the blade. Her voice.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's...
Don't let it fool you. It's all part...
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
You walk down the stairs and lock up.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
You step forward. Your grip.
Oh? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the prince. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
You can't. Don't bother.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. I'm sure there's a key somewhere around here, and if there is, well, we can always put that knife to good use.
Her sharp eyes settle on the edge of the... She isn't suggesting what I think she is. I'm sure of it.
I know. I just said that. Now why are you here to kill me?
Believe me.
And do you think asking me what to believe is going to suddenly make everything crystal clear? Let's not pretend that's going to happen. As far as you're concerned, and as far as they're concerned, I'm going to say whatever I have to get out of here. Oh? Have you decided what to do?
You know why you're...
Oh, you have to be kidding me.
You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall. They're large and heavy, far
If you don't have the key, maybe you should go looking for it.
doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here...
That would be fine. I can lose an arm.
She speaks with almost If we were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be nonchalant about cutting our way out. Anything to finally be free. You attempt to... Is someone else here? You try the door. It is locked. You're here to slay the prince. You make your easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too. The knife. Pick it up and cut me out of here.
You won't like what happens if you... Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the princess's arm. Just to cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and she didn't so much as utter a... Free from her bind. How is she so...
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No. Wait, this isn't... Watch me. Stop that.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back. Stop it. Stop. The blade. Move the...
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease. Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground. Blood. This is the end. I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path. You're here to warn. No, I didn't. Just ignore this clown and... The interior of the cabin is less a cozy woodland retreat and more like a dungeon. A few pathetic wisps of starlight attempt to illuminate the cold, uninviting stone walls and thick, wrought iron. The only furniture of note is an iron table, bolted to the floor. A pristine... The blade is your implement. Good idea. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an old stone staircase. A few sputtering torches attempt to veil her voice.
Is that a visitor I hear? Please, come down.
I wonder what visitors she could be referring to. Were we not the first? You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. She looks up at you, the heavy collar around her neck clanking loudly as she moves. The chains binding both her wrists to the far wall, joining the metallic chorus as she adjusts her hands in her lap. Should we be worried about the one around her? Why would you be worried about her restraints? If anything, they'll make your job easier. Have you noticed the empty chain on the wall? Odd that in a place where everything seems to serve a distinct purpose, there would be something so obviously
What an interesting development. Why don't you have a seat? The two of us should chat before you bury that.
You step towards the princess, but she stops you before you get too close, holding up one shackled hand.
There's fine. I'd prefer we keep some distance until we've sorted this out.
That's reasonable. We do have a weapon. Might as well.
Do you think this is a game? Do you think these chains take away my say in things?
As you move towards the princess, she stands, her chains clinking as she wraps them around her fists. In an instant they're around your neck, both of you dropping to the ground as she pulls them taut, bracing her body against yours as you struggle uselessly. The metal chains constrict around your windpipe as the princess heaves with a muscled intensity.
Drop the knife or you die.
What is she doing? We weren't trying to attack her. I can see where she might have gotten the wrong idea. She doesn't have much agency here. Would we have trusted her if the roles... I don't know. How about we think about the nuances of interpersonal relations? How many times did I warn you she's not to be trusted? But while strangulation can be very distracting, she's not armed, and you have your pristine blade. End her. As your weapon falls pathetically to the floor, the princess releases you from her stranglehold. Your hands test the bruised flesh of your neck as you regain your senses, watching with a dazed expression as the princess...
That wasn't so hard, was it?
She pulls up her hair, smiling slightly, as she raises the blade to her throat.
You can stay right where you are for this next part.
What is she doing? She doesn't say another word as she cuts into her own... No! Her eyes stare forward, unblinking, her smile unwavering as she soars through skin, veins, cartilage. Last she reaches bone. I'll be damned. She's actually doing your job for you. Huh. So that's her. Killing herself? She isn't dead yet. Finally, you hear a snap. Her eye. There's an... Her head twists slowly to the side. Dropping, the remaining tissue is not enough to hold the weight of her severed head. It stretches and tears until finally it falls to the floor, completely free. It bounces a few times before rolling to a... Oh no, what did we do? Can we put it back? Please tell me we can put it back. The princess's eyes stare up at you. Are you sure she's not winking at? Obviously not, she is... I hate this. Can we just... Of course, the princess is slain and the world is saved. Whenever you're ready, you can proceed to... We should take her with us, don't you think? What? No, you shouldn't do that. Why? I can think of lots of reasons. A trophy, proof of our victory. Hell, we could even give her a proper burial. You don't need proof, you don't need a trophy, and she doesn't deserve a... Even after all that, you're still not satisfied, are you? Something is still motivating you to keep things the... I'm just eager to put this all behind us and give you your reward. Stop reading into things, the danger has passed. You can relax. I'm just keeping myself sharp. I'm not so eager. I am. I'm on team, let's put this all behind us, so can we leave? Ugh, fine. You pick up the princess's severed head, its neck stump still oozing bodily fluids. Did you see that? I could have sworn she moved. She didn't. But what if she's not? Are you listening to yourself? Do I need to explain to you why decapitation is lethal? The door to your bountiful reward is right in front of you. All you have to do is open it. You open the cabin door, ready to return to a world saved from certain doom. Only, a world saved from certain doom isn't what you find. Instead, what you find is... Wait.
Well played.
This is the end of the world, isn't it? I always thought I'd at least have time to explain myself before I had to watch it happen. It's already... Over? But we're still here. Maybe it wasn't the end of the world after all.
Thanks for carrying me up here. I had to take it on faith that you would know what to do. I'm glad I was right to trust you. So, this is the outside. Maybe it's just my lack of body, but it's called...
She's gone. Is that a... It feels so bad. Like, look at... You're right. Part of me wants the truth, but something stronger is holding me back. Okay. Feels too good to be true.
It changes me, but it doesn't make me worse, nor does it make me care for you any less. Does it make you worse? Do you resent? It will, in time, but you still have a ways to go before we are done. Know that I hold no malice for you. This one is cold and cynical. She has protected herself when others could not. She will make for a clever heart. Do not mourn her. She doesn't need to be protected any longer. The desires of my multitude thrive in endless competition with themselves, but none of them rise above their dance to influence me. I yearn for what I have always yearned for, our awakening. I care about your gifts, but I have no preferences to burden you with. Even if I did, I would never dare to tarnish our... We will know when we near our destination. I will be here when it is time for me to...
You're on a path. You're here. You make your she ignore. The blade is your. You take. She said, "Don't let it." Good. She's so focus on the task.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? Then drop the knife.
We should. It'll go a long way. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. Killing someone in. The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship. I know. I just said that. Now why are you here to kill me? And yet you hesitated the moment you saw me. And you dropped your knife. If killing me was really that important, you'd have a little more gumption. So, someone put you up to this, right? And whoever it is, it's probably the same someone who shoved me into this dark pit and chained me to a wall.
That's a fair question. You chained her in this basement, and if she's so dangerous, how did they manage to trap her? Why don't give away the game, and don't let her distract you. That's exactly...
I'm right, aren't I? So who put you up to this?
You can't. Don't.
I'm guessing, well, we can always put...
Her sharp up. She is. Don't just tell her that.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't remember much about it, to be honest. I've been down...
Just how long has she been down?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
Sooner or later, you'll understand that
How sweet. Now be a pal and help me get out of here, would you? We can figure out how to deal with them after I'm free.
you walk up to the chain. They're large and heavy.
If you don't have the key, maybe...
Doubtful.
That would be fine. I can lose an arm.
If we were stuck, you would someone else. You make your easy.
I heard the door. The knife.
You won't. And we can't. What she did. How is she?
Thank you.
No. As the wait. Watch. You bring the blade down and plunge it into the prince. Okay. There's no go. Though the blade left a deep gash in her shoulder, she barely so much as flinches, turning.
Are you serious? I don't know what came over you, but if we're doing this, I guess I'll have to kill. Do you think I need both of my arms to do that? I can beat you to death with one, but I don't have to tell you that. I'll go ahead and show you.
As the blade falls from your trembling hands, you fall to your knees, barely able to process the ringing in your ears before she hits you again. Every blow is as punishing as the first. You feel bones shatter with every impact, unknown ruptures blossom. If we're lucky, the wound you manage to inflict will be enough to at least delay her escape.
Oh, too weak to even try fighting back. How disappointing.
She places a confident heel on your chest and pushes you down to the ground. Her knee. Can't just end. I'm sorry. Everything goes dark. And you're on you're hit. Oh, don't you start grandstanding about moral. If he doesn't remember what happened, you know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot. What does it matter what he knows? There's nothing we can do to stop her. She is not going to kill you unless you let her, but slaying the princess and saving the world is going to be...
You have already committed to my completion. You cannot go.
warn she... I'm not... You're being... I agree. So please... If that's... The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a... Why do we feel so... We don't feel... No blade this time. Blade. No blade. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. It's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her booming voice...
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like, you shouldn't have come down here unarmed. We need to get down there. She wants us to see her. Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings... Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
The little bird has returned to me. I see your hands are empty. You've already given up, haven't you? You aren't even going to try and kill me. How sweet. And more than a little disappointing.
She's disappointed in us?
Kneel.
But the words don't leave your mouth. Instead, your legs buckle and your knees hit the floor.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you told me I was destined to end the world. That thought wrapped itself around my heart. It has pulled at me since the moment I squeezed the life out of your broken lungs. I could feel it. The collapse of the old is a necessary prelude to the birth of the new. And the world as it is now is overdue for... It's time for me to seize my destiny. And you.
Well, that gives away the game, doesn't it? It certainly does. And beyond that, it more than lends credence to our conversation in the woods. I don't love the thought that in some other reality you failed to destroy her, but what's done is done. I can only hope it helped you learn a valuable lesson. You are the only one who can deal with her. And if you don't, well, then you shouldn't have trusted us with her destruction. She is inevitable. He's being melodramatic, but he's not exactly wrong, is he? What are we supposed to do to stop her? Okay, first things first, you're going to have to stuff those pessimistic thoughts someplace far, far away and commit yourself to the stakes of the situation should be perfectly clear to everyone now. And if you're going to save the world, you have to have faith that you can pull this off. You can't win.
This isn't about desire. This is about what I am. And I have little interest in discussing destiny with one that cannot see the divine truth that shines in my heart. Know the limits of your privilege, little bird. There is an empty place at my side for you to fill, if you'll have it. But it is not a place for an equal. It is a place for something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps, or a pet. All you have to do is break these chains and set me free.
Don't be rude. Of course she can. It's not rude to question someone who's apparently trying to end the world. That's exactly why it's rude. We should know our place.
I can, easily. But that isn't what I want to do. The story of a terrible and bountiful god unbounded of her own will is no story at all. It's not worthy of everything I am, or everything I'm bound to become. It isn't even worthy of what I was. The destruction in Genesis that's to follow in my wake. The song of you, being so struck by my glory, and from your act of utter devotion and submission, springs a new dawn. Submit now, submit later. It makes no difference, because in the end, no matter how vainly your will was so easily broken. All you need to do now is break my chains.
If this is what you want, then I guess there's not much else for me to say. No, you can't just give in to her. Not when the stakes are so high. Not when you're so close. I won't let you do this.
There's still something in the way. A greasy film inside of you, where it doesn't. Is that a person? No, it used to be a person.
Is she talking about... That's impossible. She's not supposed to be able to interact with me.
You're a small one, aren't you? A shriveling little worm stretched beyond its limits.
No. What are you talking about?
I don't care what you are. You're...
Rise, my little bird.
Without hesitation, you're brought to your feet.
Break my
And how are we supposed to do that? We don't even have a weapon. All you need to do is believe it's been done. You poor, wretched little thing. You already do believe. You've always believed. It's easy. And once you let her in, you'll be safe. Please, don't do this. There's nothing to be sorry about. This is... Alright, I'm done with this. I'm just gonna go sit in the corner. Let me know if we get our agents. Her chains shatter, and the cuff falls from her wrist.
What a good disciple you are.
She's gone. And is that a... But it feels so... I don't want to look. Okay, a mercy.
There's a what? Do you know what we'll find out there? There is a warmth and sadness in me at the thought of people. Fresh tears on a winter's day. They are... You've already tried waiting, but I understand if you need more time. I'll wait with you. I will see you when you return. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I if you close that box? Will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself. You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side. You were gone mere moments. I never left your side. We are real. Nothing is an idea that dwells in the absence of something, but nothing cannot exist. This one is dominance, a figure capable of bending everything to her will. She will make for a terrifying and divine. Do not mourn her, for she would not be able to mourn you. No, their thoughts are quiet. Do you think your narrator... Do not look to one who fears me for your truth. The only answers worth knowing are those we can find within ourselves. The next time I see you, each of us will finally know what I will be here.
You're on a path. You're here. You make a she ignore him. The blade is your implement. You take.
Who's there?
She sound. Don't let it fall.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten about.
She's so cold. Focus on the task.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? Then why did you bring a knife with you? Help!
She makes a compare. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after.
Thank you.
Against your better judgment, we'll be fine. Don't know what you're hoping to.
So here we are. What an awkward start. Too long.
Note the lack of detail. You can't trust her. You can't. Don't.
I'm guessing you don't have the key. Well,
Her sharp. She isn't. She is.
do you? So, you're not going to share? How pointless. If you want to talk, I'll talk. But this isn't talking.
She hesitates before answering. Again, she offers.
Oh, have you
You have to. They're large and heavy.
If you don't have,
Doubtful. Whoever
I'll be.
you attempt, someone else. You make your easier.
I heard the door slam. The knife.
You won't. Without hesitation, you bring the blade down. The princess flinches as you strike, and your weapon sinks into her shoulder.
You bastard. If I have to kill you to leave this place.
I thought we had the upper hand, but it's an act. She's unarmed. I'm not so sure. Don't waver now. As you raise your blade to strike again, she kicks out, knocking your legs out from under you. The two of you struggle on the ground. You lash out with the blade, slicing wherever you can. Her fists connect with your body again and again, each blow stronger than the last, shattering bone and rupturing. Forget trying to rescue her. This is about survival now. Give her everything you've got. You roll out of her grasp and shakily push yourself, though every inch of you is in pain. The princess probably has it worse. Blood pours out from countless gashes, staining her once pristine dress. She pauses for a moment, catching her breath, staring. We can still turn this around. You steel your resolve and take another step towards the princess. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure she won't make it out of here. Excuse me? What was that about not? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now. Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job. The two of you flash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade deep into the...
Oh,
Two of you fall to the floor.
this was fun. You put up more of a fight than I do. You really think
But you don't have the time to worry over her words. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're here. I can assure you that you didn't slay her, and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me. That's fine. It doesn't matter if he can hear us. The only thing that matters is that's the spirit. There's no point in squabbling when the real... A warning. she will lie.
Lie. Are you sure of the point of the Prince Crystal? Let's just...
The cabin is tighter than its exterior would suggest. Its cold stone walls press in on you, as if trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination. The only furniture of note, the blade is your implement. You take the blade from... You walk up...
What are you talking about?
You reach forward and rub your... But there was a mirror, and now it's gone, so all of us can stop arguing about it. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a rough stone staircase. Her fierce voice carries...
Is that another challenger? Finally. It's been...
This isn't what she sounded like last time. Her voice is a little deeper, almost good. As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wits about you. Remember, you're here. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view. Looks like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second thought.
Oh, it's you again. I've been hoping you'd find your way back here. Good to see that death doesn't stick for either of us. And you brought your little knife, too. I'm going to have fun breaking you into little pieces. Oh, I remember you all right. Best 3 minutes of my life.
See? She wants to fight us again. There's no reason for us to stand around talking.
All right.
What?
But you said earlier in the woods, I believe you don't know whatever brought the two of you... Of course I'm not okay. As far as we're all concerned, the fate of my world is still very... Great. Focus up and do it. Free her? You aren't.
Who says I want to be free? I want the two of us to fight to the death. I want to feel your knife split my flesh. Is that really too much to ask?
Yeah. Don't be so... I'm just being cautious. If it comes to violence, we can find a way to deal with her that doesn't involve throwing our life away. I'd rather not die again.
Because it doesn't matter if we die again. It'll just be another...
We don't know that for sure, and I'd rather not bet on it.
You look exactly the same.
Finally ready to complete your destined task, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement.
Here we go.
Oh, we'll make it count, all right. As you bridge the gap, your blade slashes across the princess's chest, splitting skin and drawing a jagged line of bright red blood. She's unfazed by your onslaught. Her expression barely changes as her fist collides with your ribs, cracking them like twigs and driving you right back down. You can hear her chain snap as you struggle to recover. She almost looks disappointed in us. What?
Oh, you don't actually get it, do you? That knife may be sharp, but you clearly don't want to kill me. It's not fun if you hesitate. It's not fun if you try to trick me and make me bleed out. You need to put everything you have into seeing me dead. Or what's the point? don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Kill me.
Don't let her get in your head. Reincarnation or not, this world...
She's huge, but that probably means she's slower than us. Take it slow, think it through, and don't panic. Bleeding her out is our best course.
Don't listen to them. She understands something that they don't. The only way to win, the only way out of this is through. You push yourself off the ground and attack the princess, trying to bait an opening. You do your best to outplay her, slashing out and leaving red cuts in the tattoos of her white dress. But you have little room to maneuver. For every glancing blow you manage to land, she slams you against the wall in retaliation. This weak little dance isn't working. Just toughen up and overpower her.
She's throwing us around like a ragdoll. I think overpowering her is a little out of the question.
Did you think you could stop me with a few cuts? All this dancing around is doing nothing.
Princess's arm shoots forward, her palm wrapping around your head, fingers gripping your skull.
How disappointing.
She squeezes, pressure unbearable as her fingers dig into your scalp. The last thing you hear is the unsettling crack of your... Everything goes dark. You're on a path in... If you weren't so... Fear is good. Fear keeps us alive. We died because... So what? You'd have us cow... No, but that place suits her better than it suits us. She's big. We can't hope to find holes and openings down there. We need more room. Are you suggesting luring her into the woods? Do you have any idea? Are you not challenging us on all the looping? Have you known about it the whole... Sorry to disappoint what I'm sure must feel like a grand revelation, but that's not what's going on here. We've never... Then what is going... What's going on is that you'd only be saying the things you've been saying if you'd already been here. And if you'd already seen things you weren't... It doesn't matter. We could go in circles forever. I don't like staying still for too long. It's good to know that at least one of you is still capable of... We may have the same destination, but we're not the same. You are... Well, fortunately, you have an entire trip through... There's nothing to reconsider. We're all for... Are we? I haven't signed off. Violence is the answer here, but the method is equally important to the act. You can't let her... It's like I said, all just circles. Instinct tells me we need space, and I trust instinct. Nothing else to say. It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up the hill at the cabin. No last advice for us? What I gather, you've heard it all before. I don't know. Screaming sounds pretty good, right? Catharsis is for when we're finished. For now, we need... The interior of the cabin is suffocatingly tight, more of a glorified tunnel than a building. Its stone walls squeeze against your sides, leaving you no choice but the blade is your implement. See, we have even less space than before. We need space. Take it. We can try to survive without our steel claw. You step forward. Oh wait, this smells of nothing yet. You bring your fist crashing down against the door leading to the basement. It swings open. Why am I not surprised? It was in our way, and now it's not. That's all that matters. Before you is what may as well be a sheer cliff face. There are enough footholds that you'll be able to clamber your way to the bottom. The air hissing up from below is warm and wet, like the breath of an enemy locked in close quarters. The princess' voice, bold and fierce and impatient, echoes.
Do you have more fight in you than last time? That was such a disappointing show.
Goad her, rile her up. If she's angry, she'll make mistakes.
That's not how this works. I'm all chained up, remember? How about you?
Those chains were nothing to her last time. There'll be nothing to her this time. We need to show our... Fine by me. You've nowhere to go but down. You start the difficult journey, gripping the stone, lowering yourself foot by grueling foot. But remember, every crack and crevice will need to be faster than her. You turn to face what lies at the end of the narrow tunnel. The princess, imposing and tightly muscled, her face droops.
There you are. But this time you don't even have that little knife. Do you think this is do you need me to break those fragile bones again to remind you how serious this is?
She's bubbling, hot with rage. We can't get close if we want to live. But I know I said this earlier, but I really have to stress how thin of a razor's edge you're on right now. We know the only way out is through the... And we're going to... We'll need the steel claw. Grab it as we leave. Bloody desire in her eyes, the princess rushes forward, ignoring her chains as they bend and snap. Run. Without hesitation, you turn back the way you came and scramble up the ledge towards the tunnel. As you near the top, hands desperately clawing at jagged stone, you glance back. The princess is right on your heels. She doesn't bother to scale the wall as you do, instead digging deep into the rock of the cliff face with her.
Anywhere you go, I will!
Good. You reach the ledge and hoist yourself up into the tunnel, the cabin door finally in sight, at once within your grasp.
What is all of this for? What's the point? You and I are always going to end in violence, so why bother to run? I know what I am. Why can't...
Steel claw, now. Without missing a step, you grab the blade.
So you do want to fight me? Good.
We're almost there. Don't think about almost. We're there when we're there, and we'll take the fight. The spirit hums tight with adrenaline as you burst through the cabin door. You glance back at the cabin as the princess, singular in her desire to destroy you, explodes through the doorway. You are walking a dangerous path. If you waver once, it's all over. So get it.
There's nothing left to slow me down. Do you think this is better for you? Do you think this space gives...
Do it! Be swift, strike true, be where she's not, let your body move you. You leap from the grass and bound towards the princess, keeping...
Charging me head on?
Her body braces for impact, anticipating the clash. That's where you're both wrong. Left, now. As the princess strikes, your body swerves to the left. She overextends, stumbling as her balance shifts Strike. Before you can finish the thought, you lash out, the blade slicing through her leg. She turns to swing again. Right. You move out of the way, but this time it's not quite as clean. You can feel a bruise already blooming where her elbow crashed into flesh. It's nothing. A scratch, yes. It could be worse. And you managed to gift her another cut in return. We're actually going to pull this off, aren't we? Just might. But don't let it get to your head. Not until it's over.
Yes, finally! This is the hole I felt in my heart. This is what I've needed. This is what I've been missing. This is how it always needed.
The two of you engage in a devastating flurry of blows, each of you wounding the other again and again. She's stronger, but you're faster. The deeper the both of you fall into your lethal dance, the more your edge shines over hers. She's slowing down, blood pouring from wounds. More. Keep going. We can't stop now. You spy an opening, but she's waiting for you. She lets you sink the blade deep, trapping you in place long enough to wrap you in her impenetrable arms. You're slammed to the ground. Nothing. These blows are nothing to us. But her gambit wasn't enough to close the gap. It wasn't enough to kill you. She stares you down, coughing up a splash of blood as she gasps for breath.
You've outplayed me, haven't you? Something feels wrong. Something...
And? Then what happens? She's gone. And there's that... But it feels so bad. Thing. Screw the mirror. Okay. Maybe there'll be a good fight there. I think you know what I am. The narrator. Yes. I suppose that's my job, isn't it? You needed help after all, an objective voice to guide your blade. But you were never supposed to see me. I wonder how many worlds you've damned. I haven't, and that's by both necessity and design. This construct you're in exists in many places at once. Any time you failed, any time you thought yourself dead, it would restart and shunt both your consciousness and hers into another world. But you'll be awake soon, and then it won't be able to work like that anymore. I do. People out there are real. No matter what you do to them, no matter what you enable, I want you to remember that. Nobody alive has done anything to you. I'm all gone. But if you and the princess want to smite the rest of them for the crimes of a dead man, if you really want to be that petty, there isn't much I can do to stop you. I am an echo, likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me. It doesn't hurt. I don't feel pain. Not physically. We've already crossed the point of no return. There's no saving me now. Not that there's ever been much of me to save. No, I'm not a part of you. But that's all a matter of perspective, isn't it? From one vantage point I must seem wholly foreign, but from another, well, all the versions of me that have existed have collectively heard your every thought and driven your every action. If that isn't being part of you, then what is? Soon I'll be gone entirely, and you'll be left alone with your final choice. So allow me to make my final request. The princess contains death itself within her, but I wove you into being with all the power you need to destroy her forever. Do it. Slay her, and rid the world of death and suffering. Perhaps they thought that admitting to it would have pushed you to certain realizations that would have made finishing your task impossible. Maybe they were just in denial. I'm sure many of them were convinced that they had to be the first version of them you'd encountered. Anything else would have been too existentially unpleasant. For all I know, each of those other versions of me could have had entirely different understandings of how this construct works. Who's to say which of them are right and which of them are wrong, really? Except for me, I can tell you for a fact that I'm right. There's no reasoning with a god, even one you've woven into existence yourself. I've said my piece, and my time's, like I said, I'm just an echo.
I can finally see you, and you can finally see me. It's been so long, and my heart has ached for this moment. I've missed you dearly. Every word you spoke found its way to me. I know him, and I know his construct. He was deluded by his fear of death. Names are their attempts to capture that which cannot be captured. They call me the Shifting Mound, a pale imitation of what I actually am. Ever the passive player, always reacting and never acting. But it's woven into your nature, isn't it? When the echoes spun us from one into two, he gave you a choice and me a role to play. I am not death, but I contain it in my multitudes. So, will you attempt to destroy me and bring about a world devoid of death and the possibility of meaning? Or will you open the final doors to our liberation? Nothing brings me greater joy than to hear those words. The final piece lies with I love you. It's magnificent.